Good evening to those bored enough to watch. Over the course of the last few months, things have been gradually changing both behind the scenes and publicly, as more and more of those changes begin to creep into the limelight. I've been busy for quite some time, obviously since this video is one that I've been planning on making since January, though I've never really had the time to prepare for it and even consider it until now. I've been trying to get as much done as I can before the making of this video, of which some of it being done, but unfortunately not all. This ranges from the things I've been silent about, or things that I've slowly begun to show on the channel, such as some videos being private, the redraws of the thumbnails, and the longer videos, things of which I want to discuss in due course. In this video, I also want to discuss the future of the channel for the remainder of this year and beyond, should it come to that. Mainly because, as many of you know, uploads to the channel have been getting less and less frequent over time in favor of the longer videos I've been putting out recently. After I finish talking about that, I want to discuss the other projects I've been working on, such as video essays and other big scale projects of that sort. Mainly because while I have been silent on mostly all of those things, there is a reason for such a thing, as there are a lot of complications behind being able to work full time on those things than one may think, and the multitude of dilemmas that ensue with them. As many of you know, I generally tend to make update videos twice a year, one halfway through the year and one at the end. This video being the first one of this year. I want to be able to discuss some of the things I've been up to in the short amount of time I've been silent, from the noticeable changes I've made to the channel in terms of visibility and accessibility. I also want to talk about some of the things I've been working on over the course of the last few months, as well as video essays. For anyone who saw the brief update post I made to Twitter, this is that video I mentioned on it, so I hope you enjoy. So, with that said, let's discuss some of the things I've been up to over the course of the last few months. Now, for any vigilant viewers that have been keeping track of my channel for whatever reason, over the course of the last few weeks, you'd know that quite a few things have changed. The first being that every video before the Blue Whale video has been privated or blocked from public viewing, and the reason for this is because I don't really feel they're worth anyone's time, considering a large majority of the videos that went down mainly consist of me sitting behind a TV screen, playing a video game but sped up. A lot of those videos were rushed, and considering how I wasn't really good with time crunches back then, they're quite bad videos too in my opinion, and by my own standards today, they're not really something I'm proud of. I want to be able to present things on this channel that I can say I'm proud of, and while the older videos may be things of which I'm not proud of by today's standards either, I do feel as though it would be quite odd without the major stepping stones of my channel being completely missing, so a lot of those older videos were kept around. And plus, while I think they're horrible and, quite frankly, cringy, maybe you'll find entertainment in them. Another thing I want to talk about in this segment of the video is the thumbnail redraws. For anyone who looks at the descriptions of my videos, you would know that since around the middle of last year, a lot of the links to where it would show the thumbnails were left blank, with the placeholder message coming soon. Now, after a while of spending a lot longer than I probably should have, the remainder of all of last year's videos have been redrawn. As for this year's thumbnails, I may save those ones for a little later in the year, considering how this year I haven't necessarily been uploading as much as I wanted to, and I mainly felt that redrawing the remainder of last year's ones were more of a priority. As for this year's stuff, the outro music I used for this year's video has been uploaded to the second channel, and all of the descriptions of the videos that have used it have been updated to include the links to such a thing. Another thing regarding the thumbnail redraws and art in general, for anyone who noticed, a lot of the links that led to the thumbnail redraws on my website were changed to the same thumbnails and redraws, but on an art account I made on Twitter. And yes, I am selling my soul to the devil for this. The website I was using for this purpose had begun to feel clunky and a bit of a burden as updating it got harder and harder, feeling the need to write something for each thumbnail when there really wasn't much to say just to avoid the page from looking like a blank English essay. In general, the website just didn't feel worth the time I was investing into it when it came to thumbnails and the sort. To counter that, I made an art account on Twitter, or as I like to call it, one of the worst mistakes of my life. Essentially, this is where I've reposted all of the thumbnails and is where I'll be continuing to post all of the thumbnails in the near future. I think it's more convenient for both myself and those interested, and I definitely think it's much less of an eyesore compared to the website. Now, regardless of those advantages, this was still a decision I was very iffy about. Twitter, as many of you know, is a genuine cesspit, to the point where I try to avoid going on there as much as possible. With the exception of Discord to some extent, and YouTube, I try to avoid as much social media as possible, mainly because I want to keep my workflow steady. That, and I just don't like social media in general, if anything. For that reason, making a Twitter account where I post more regularly than usual is something I was very iffy about. So for that reason, I am going to try and cut down on post there only when I have something I feel is worthy of showing off, and not just art every 0.2 nanoseconds. Nonetheless, I hope you can pay the account a visit and check some of the arguably worse versions of the thumbnails, and maybe give it a follow if you want. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about as well is the second channel. For anyone who watches the miscellaneous stuff stuff I post there, you would know that aside from the 2022 outro music I posted recently, the channel's been practically dormant, and this is for a reason. You see, I grew very busy to the point where it was very difficult to maintain the things I'd otherwise have as a second priority, and for that reason I made the decision to stop posting there unless necessary, and to hopefully go back to it once I had more time on my hands that would allow for me to post there again. But the thing is, with all of the things I've been busy with at the moment, making and uploading videos in real time doesn't seem possible. So I came up with a solution. I may or may not try to hopefully stockpile on a bunch of videos for that channel and upload them semi-regularly with YouTube's schedule feature, but I'll only do that when I have time to spare, so I can invest said time into things I'd otherwise have as a second priority. So if you enjoy some of the stuff I posted there, you can keep an eye out for future videos that may or may not come to that channel. I'll mainly be posting miscellaneously, from random commentaries to speed paints or just stuff in general that I don't feel would fit on the main channel. I am looking to increase on my output of content for the latter half of this year, so I do hope you join me for that. That brings me to the next thing I want to discuss in this part of the video. Video essays. Video essays are something I haven't really been posting much of since the Speedrun Reloaded video in January, and that's mainly because of the fact that I've been trying to improve the quality of the casual content first. One of the ways I went about doing this is making them longer. Essentially, I want to be able to give the casual content the same treatment as video essays. Of course, that means less videos come out, but at the same time I hope that means you'll get more enjoyment out of watching each one. At the same time though, I do want to differentiate the two from one another, whether that may be through subtle or larger means. Either way, the longer forms of casual content is most likely here to stay, and I hope you enjoy them. Now onto the topic of video essays and what I've been up to regarding that. It's just been really slow due to the fact that I can't really give it all of my attention given all of the stuff I'm busy with. You know, I have to distribute attention across a multitude of different things as opposed to focusing solely on one thing, or else workflow on projects would slow to a crawl. But nonetheless, I do hope to try and get some out soon, and I do want to increase the output of my content for this year and hopefully beyond. That's all I've really got to say on the topic of the channel and the projects correlating to such a thing. I do want to be able to discuss more, but I only really wanted to discuss some of the things I felt was ready for sharing. Now, another thing I want to discuss is the other projects I have in the works. It won't be as long as this part of the video, since mainly I just want to talk about one thing in particular. So, with that said, let's discuss the other projects I have in the works. In this part of the video, I'll mainly be discussing things that have some, but not much correlation to the channel. The projects I'm going to talk about here were ones I didn't really feel belonged amongst the ones I mentioned in the previous part of this video. In this part, I'll be discussing a lot of the things I left off on in the video I released back in December of last year. First off, the project of which I said I was working on that delayed animosity is still in production, and I've just about finished up a few elements of said thing before working on this video. But the thing is, and I know this is going to sound like the most generic excuse ever, not all of the features I have planned are in the game yet. I don't feel it's something worth showing off in a video with the current state it's in, since it's still very early in its production. One of the reasons for this, because as many of you know, and again I know this is going to sound like a very overused generic excuse, I've been busy with a lot of other things. I want to maintain the channel on the sword. Many may think that I can work full time on it and leave the channel behind for a bit and only upload unless absolutely necessary, but the thing is, I don't want to leave the channel to die while I work on something for mainly two reasons. The first one being that when I finish it, I'm quite literally going to be releasing it to a dead channel, which is something that, according to my very highly complex calculations, probably wouldn't work. And the second being, as much as I want to work on this, I still want to make videos in between. And for those who think that I'll spend forever on this project to the point where it'll never come out, I'd just like to say that do try not to worry, because I do plan on finishing this. Obviously, if I do feel as though it's taking a lot longer than I expected, then I will take the necessary measures to get it out of the door. Essentially what I'm trying to say is to worry not. I do plan on retiring at 65. Obviously, a lot has changed since the update video I released back in December, so I wanted to give an update on what I felt was necessary for such a thing and what I felt was ready to be shown off or discussed in this video. But that's all I've really got to say for this part of the video, so I want to move on to the general conclusion and the key takeaways for this video. So, let's conclude things then. Assuming that you watched the full video, there are a few things I want you to take away from this video. A lot of changes have been made to the channel, such as the cleanup of the visibility of videos, the thumbnail redraws, the art account on Twitter, and the possible return of the second channel. I have video essays on the sort in the works, which may see the light of day sometime after this video comes out. However, I do want to say that a few casual videos may come out before then, or sometime in between new video essays coming out. As I said, I've been working on a lot. Others may need a little more time in the oven before they can come out, or before anything further can be said about them. I want to increase my output of content for the latter half of this year, especially considering that the beginning has been very inconsistent in terms of such a thing. For this reason, I want to work towards trying to get as many videos out as I can, and overall improving or maintaining the quality of my videos. With that, I haven't really got much else I want to say in this video. I hope you all look forward to the things I have in store, as I want to make the best content I can, and I hope you all join me for the ride. So, there's the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. There are going to be a few more videos that come out soon after this one. I hope you all join me for those. Some being casual content that I just never finished until now due to me being busy with the other stuff and having to put it all to the side. And some new stuff I've been working on over the course of the last few weeks. Hope you can all join me for that. I've been looking forward to releasing them. If you want to follow me, then my socials will be linked in the description, as well as any afterthoughts or messages I want to add. With that, I've not really got much else I want to say, so I'll see you all in my next video. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I wish you all a very pleasant evening.